Thank you, David. I'd like to welcome everyone to our May 17th, 2018 school board meeting. We have completed our executive session. And would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, we need the
We got to reconvene.
Yeah. Oh, Ms. Sayers here.
I thought the same thing. Can I get a motion to reconvene the meeting?
Motion.
Mr. Chastain, a second. Mr. Banks, all in favor? Raise your right hand. Say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We are reconvened. Okay. Thank you. And let's move on to board recognitions. Mr. Ragsdale.
Susan would like to say something.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm going to say just right up front, we've got a long list of recognitions, as you can tell. But this is a great thing to end the school year on. If you will, I know Ms. Thayer wants to make a statement before we meet down in front.
Yes, I think as I just demonstrated, I have a foot injury and I'm not going to be able to stand and shake hands, but I did want to issue each one of you my personal congratulations. We really appreciate your contributions to our school system and thank you for representing us so well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thayer. Mr. Scammahorn.
Thank you. And although I don't have a foot injury, I just had major surgery a couple weeks ago. And though my heart will be down there, but I think I'm going to stay up here. So my apologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scammahorn.
Do you mean the walking wounded?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to go ahead and get started since we do have a long list. First, we are pleased to recognize Walton High School's Laura Key. Will Laura please stand? Just remain standing right where you are for the moment. Laura has been selected by the LGE Community Credit Union to receive a $5,000 LGE Community Service Scholarship. This is the first recipient of this scholarship, and it supports the credit union's philosophy of people helping people, and it shows the partnership between the school district and LGE. I'd like to invite to come with Laura, to come to the front, Judy McNeil, and also Vicki Ajanian to come forward. Back here for a picture. Hey, very good. Again, thank you, Vicki, and thank you, LGE. Congratulations, Laura. And you'll go right back at it. Absolutely. Next, we're thrilled to announce that Russell Elementary School's KM4RE Amateur Radio Club, also known as the DX Roadrunners, won its third national championship, and you can see them coming in the door. They had a grand total Before they come up, I'll say a few words about this group. They had the record for the most points scored for the grand total of 264,914. And although they were in elementary school, they outscored all the other teams in the competition, including middle schools, high schools, and college level. The second closest school to us was Purdue University. So congratulations, this team. Come up and be congratulated by the board and the superintendent. Very good. And you'll go out this way. Okay, yep, go out this way. Very good. All right, next we have the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl State Champions, and that goes to the team from Shallowford Falls Elementary School, a team of 10 Shallowford Falls students who read 18 books and answered in bowl-type settings, answered questions buzzing in as they knew the answers. So will that team please come forward from Shallowford Falls to be recognized by the board? They're being joined by Felicia Angel, the principal, and assistant principal Jill Spiva. Very good. You're going to go out the side door right here. Good job. Tonight, we also have the pleasure of recognizing Pope High School's Max Durrott. Max, please stand where you are. There he is. He is the Class 6A Boys Wrestling State Champion for the 113-pound classification. Please come forward with Assistant Principal Josh Matthews. Good job, right here. Our next 6 awards will go to JROTC and NJROT programs throughout the district. Next, we have the opportunity to recognize the U.S. Army JROTC Male Color Guard team from Campbell High School as state champions. If the team will please step forward, along with Principal Dr. Gene Walker, Assistant Principal Joshua Ford, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Hulsey, Sergeant First Class Will Powell, and First Sergeant Catherine Burns. Please step forward to be recognized by the board. Let the kids move. Yep. Campbell also captured the title of U.S. Army JROTC Female State Champions. They won first place in the 5K team run with a time of 26 minutes, 20 seconds, and the rope bridge with a time of 2 minutes, 35 seconds. Let them come forward, please, to be recognized by the board and the superintendent. North Cobb High School Navy JROTC recently won the National Brain Brawl Championship for the 5th time. That's 5 years in a row. We now ask that team please step forward to be recognized by the board and the superintendent, along with Assistant Principal Mary Goodwin, Commander Joe Reeves, and First Sergeant Mike Dickerson.
Real nice, man. Real natural. Excellent job. Excellent job. Thank you for what you do, sir.
We're excited to recognize several state championship teams from Hillgrove High School. So let's start with the Hillgrove U.S. Navy JROTC team that demonstrated their top navigational skills. NJROTC orienteering team won the state championship. If they will please come forward at this time with Principal Angela Stewart, Assistant Principal Sherry Thurman, Navy Lieutenant Commander Ron Hernowski, and Chief Petty Officer Alan Harris. Right, y'all? Yep. Yes, the next one's academic teams. If they're on it, they can stay. Next, we want to recognize the U.S. Navy JROTC academic team from Hillgrove High School as the state champions. If they will please come forward. Good job. Good job. Now we will recognize we have four individual champions from Hillgrove High School. Jennifer Harnage is the U.S. NJROTC state and national champion, if she'll please come forward. We have Mary Smith, who won the U.S. Navy JROTC Girls State Championship. Peyton Valencia, who captured the U.S. Navy's JROTC Boys State Championship. and Mason Bloom, who represented Hillgrove at the national level and won the male junior varsity national championship. Yeah, you can. Hillgrove has yet another state championship to add to its trophy case as well. They won first place in the Class 7A Boys Quartet State Literary Competition. Please come forward, Matthew Elsey, Ethan Pounds, Miller Sinyard, and Enrique Sobrino. Please come forward to be recognized by the board. Good job. We'd like to congratulate other 7A Literary State champions, and they're from Kennesaw Mountain High School. The Literary State champion for Oral Interpretation Dramatic is Ayanna Arrington. The champion for Oral Interpretation Humorous is Nick Haddad. The champion for Extemporaneous Speaking International is Meredith Johns. The champion for Extemporaneous Speaking Domestic is Olivia Seaball. And they're joined by Assistant Principal Nathan Stark and Department Chair and Teacher Coy Dunn. Good job. Cobb students represented our district well at the Georgia Student Technology Competition as well. We have several state champions from this competition. Please come forward when I call your name. The Georgia Student Technology Competition champions for project programming, Ryan Cabelli from Kennesaw Mountain High School and Arvin Podar from Wheeler High School. The Georgia Student Technology Competition champions for internet applications, Soren Paturi and Suvan Paturi, both from Kennesaw Mountain High School. Please come forward with any administrators. I know I see Dr. Giles in the room as well, and Nathan Stark can come back up as well. Another of our Georgia Student Technology Competition champions that we're going to recognize actually won two. He's a dual state champion. It's Abhijit Ghosh from East Side Elementary School. And he won it for robotics as well as Technology Literacy Challenge. So please come forward with Principal Elizabeth Maverty, Teacher Lisa Keel, and be recognized by the board. We want to congratulate Due West Elementary School for once again winning first place in the Georgia Tech K-12 Inventure Challenge. They won the same competition in 2016. They won for their design of the Watch Me, which locates children who are lost by incorporating a GPS system in the core of a watch. Good design. We'd like to invite them, all the students on that team, forward, along with Principal LaDonna Starnes and Advanced Learning Program Supervisor Sarah Kessel. Say Sally Graham. We are thrilled to announce that Walton High School claimed the 2018 K-12 Inventure Prize. They designed the Team Hydraptor, which is an adapter that can be attached to a hose that will fit any size. When the connections are desired, the adapter is simply put together into a connection point and rotated to create a fast and reliable connection. Sounds like a great device as well. Will that team please come forward? They were also accompanied by their teacher, Ann Baxley, who took home the 2018 Inventure Prize Award for the top high school teacher. Congratulations to them. Please come forward along with Principal McNeil, who I know is in the room, and Sarah Kessel. Kell Robotics recently made history at the first Robotics World Championship. They are the first team in Georgia to bring home the most prestigious award offered by First Robotics, the International Chairman's Award. These students are from Harrison, Kell, Kennesaw Mountain, North Cobb, and others. We invite them to come up along with Kell High School Assistant Principal Suzanne Kane. We now have the pleasure of recognizing our Skills USA state champions, and let's start with Emmett Day from Kennesaw Mountain High School, who placed first in the Skills USA Construction Blueprint Reading Competition. He's going to come forward with his teacher, Christy Holbrook, and assistant principal, Nathan Stark. Next, we're going to have James Syed from Walton High School come forward. He won first place in the Skills USA Advertising Design Competition, along with his teacher, Dan Campagna, and Principal Judy McNeil. Please come forward to be recognized by the board and the superintendent. Next, we'll recognize the Skills USA champions from North Cobb High School. And with us tonight, Skills USA Career Pathway Showcase Arts, Audiovisual Technology, and Communications State Champions, Daniel McAnn, Taylor Mason, and Oagi Childs. And with them, you will have Mary Goodwin, Assistant Principal, Advisor Michael Bakars, and Audiovisual Broadcast Instructor Daniel Node. The Cobb STEM certification process is designed to recognize schools or programs within schools that support quality STEM enriched learning opportunities, as well as provide schools with clear guidelines and criteria to support them along their STEM journey. We're excited to announce tonight Baker Elementary School recently earned the county's STEM Award. If anyone with Baker would please come forward at this time so that we can recognize you on this great award. Our next STEM recognition is for Lassiter High School, which earned the Department of Education's STEM certification. Lassiter has also already received the Cobb STEM certification and the Advanced Education STEM certification. Please come forward, everyone from Lassiter, to be recognized by the board and the superintendent. Up next, we're going to recognize Hightower Trail Middle School for achieving the Advanced STEM certification as the internationally recognized mark of quality for STEM schools and programs. The Advanced Ed certification highlights Hightower Trail's commitment to STEM education and to preparing students for future STEM careers. Please come forward, anyone from Hightower Trail, to be recognized.
Hey, do the sorority pose. In addition to our schools earning STEM certification, the Cobb County School District STEM and Innovation Department was recently awarded the Advanced STEM Provider Certification by Advanced Ed, and we are the first ones to receive this prestigious award. The STEM certification demonstrates the district's commitment to the STEM disciplines of science, technology, engineering, and math, and I believe that these disciplines are instrumental in preparing students today for careers that they will have tomorrow. I'm going to announce these folks, and then they're going to come up and shake hands with the board. Dr. Sally Creel, our STEM and Innovation Supervisor. Christian Callie, our Science Supervisor. Tracy Matthews, our Science Professional Learning Specialist. Michelle Mikes, our Math Supervisor. Miranda Westbrook and Ashley Clody, Math Professional Learning Specialists. Jackie Brown, CTAE Supervisor. Angela Kowalski-Sparks, CTAE Coordinator. And Tanya Patterson. Patucci? Please come forward and be recognized by the board, ladies. And anyone else that's here for that. National School Nurse Day is May 6th and Nurse Appreciation Week. We celebrate and acknowledge the accomplishments of the school nurses and their efforts for everything they do every single day to meet the needs of our students and deliver of health care in our schools. We want to take this opportunity to thank our dedicated Cobb school nurses who contribute to our local community by helping students stay healthy in school and ready to learn. As you can see, we have many nurses in the room tonight. Please come forward to be recognized by the board, led by Supervisor Melanie Bales. This year, the Library Media Specialist of the Year award goes to Kara Harpin. Would she please stand? I know she's in the room. She's at McClure Middle School. She's a very creative, enthusiastic media specialist and ensures that the Learning Commons is the hub of the learning environment at the school. With her tonight are Principal Kelly Metcalf, Teacher Beth Smith, Para Suzanne Chambliss, and Media Supervisor Holly Freelot. Please come forward to be recognized by the board and the superintendent. Emptying the room out, it is getting quiet. The American School Counselor Association has named 2 Cobb schools as recognized ASCA model school programs, also known as RAMP programs. This designation indicates that a school counseling team is committed to student success by delivering a comprehensive, data-driven program. Our first one will be from J.J. Daniel. We have Principal David Nelson, counselors Laura McAfee and Casey Pope. Please come forward, be recognized by the board and the superintendent, along with Counselor Gail Smith, that's the counseling supervisor, Gail Smith, and Dr. Melissa Marsh.
Congratulations, man. Awesome job. I know you had a lot to do. There you go. Turn and look. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, our next RAMP award goes to McEachern High School. We have Principal Regina Montgomery and counselors Antoinette Dickerson, Christy Royer, Aisha Falsey, Reginald Huns, and Melissa Lynch. Please come forward to be recognized by the board.
again. Like that?
Next, we are happy to announce the Cobb County School District's Financial Services Department, and they have earned the Government Finance Officials Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. That's quite an accomplishment. This certificate of achievement is the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. Will these people please stand, or you can wave? Some of them are standing, and then I want you to come forward and be recognized by the board. Chief Financial Officer Brad Johnson, Director of Accounting Services Jan Hendricks, Manager of Accounting Services Colette Turner, General Ledger Accountant, go ahead, Mandy Madison, Accountant Beth Atkinson, General Accountant Karen Meeks, Procurement Card Specialist Peggy McClure Greenhour, Cash Specialist Diane Cothran, Accounts Reconciliation Coordinator Dawn Vestola, and Food Services Accounting Lisa Meslow.
Thank you, sir.
Now we know the secret to Brad. Yeah, exactly. I thought Brad did that. You thought he did all that work.
You bet. Thank you. Good job. It is our pleasure at this time to recognize James Palmer of Alatoona High School for winning the American String Teachers Association Elizabeth A.H. Green Award. This award goes to a school string teacher with a current and distinguished career in the school orchestral setting. We invite James, Assistant Principal David Church, and Music Supervisor Christopher Farrell to please come forward and be recognized by the board. Yes. Mr. Chair, that concludes all of our recognitions this evening.
Wow, Mr. Reitz, that's a lot of awards.
Hey,
Great job.
only the best.
A lot of good things happening.
We did it in 45 minutes.
Let's move at this time to public comment. Mr. Doyle, how many do we have tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 3 speakers tonight. How much time can we allot?
About 3 minutes apiece.
Okay, our first speaker is Myrna Rollins, who will be discussing representing union. And she'll be followed by Dr. Rosemary Vaughn.
Good evening, Superintendent and members of the board. My name is Myrna Rollins, and I am the Special Programs and Benefit Director for the Georgia Federation of Public Service Employees. I'm a proud Cobb County resident and a big supporter of our Cobb schools. I live in board member David Chastain District, and let me say, Mr. Chastain, I appreciate your leadership and service to our community. I know our schools firsthand. My daughter attended Kincaid Elementary, Simpson Middle, and ultimately she graduated from Sprayberry High School. We have great schools and great staff. You may recall I appeared before the board at your March meeting. The Georgia Federation of Public Service Employees filed an application with Cobb for a payroll deduction slot pursuant to state law and the adopted and published policy of our board. We complied with every request and met every criteria. We were ultimately told our request was denied. After appearing before the body and demonstrating our compliance, we were sent a letter by Mr. Brad Johnson saying that we needed to recruit 100 members and we would be granted a deduction slot. We have reached out twice to speak with Mr. Brad Johnson and meet with Mr. Johnson. Our requests, however, have been ignored. We have some serious concerns regarding staff unilateral and arbitrary changes to the board's adopted and published policy. Since our requests to meet with Mr. Johnson have been ignored, we will be reaching out to our superintendent for a meeting. We believe employees should have a choice on the employee organization they choose to join, and no employee organization should be granted a monopoly by district staff. The other employee organization is now bragging that they have Cobb's administration blocking our access. We hope to resolve this issue soon. We're looking forward to working collaboratively with the district, and there are some important dates and events we'd like to invite you to participate in. However, in the essence of time, I will be following up with this request in writing. Thank you for the opportunity to be heard.
Our next speaker is Dr. Rosemary Vaughn, who will discuss pay raise for teachers. She'll be followed by Connie Jackson.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Board, and Superintendent Ragsdale. I'm Rosemary Vaughn. I'm the Associate Executive Director of Educators First. And we're here this evening to request to the Board that you open a dialogue on funding educator pay raises, whether that be a millage increase, a penny sales tax, or any other reasonable idea. While Educators First thanks you very much for your support in administering the $10 million for teachers' pay raises, we also support our educators and understand why they leave the profession for various reasons, including salary being in the top 5 reasons for leaving. Therefore, we request tonight that a committee be established to study how to improve salary for educators in Cobb. We will be happy to help you in this in any possible way. But tonight we ask you, what is your plan for the future so that the brightest and the best educators stay here in Cobb? Thank you so much for your time and your consideration.
Our final speaker is Connie Jackson, who will discuss raises.
So here we are again. I think I've asked, and I've told you ways, and I've told you whys. And I think I've made it clear that it's very important. It's important to the teachers, the bus drivers, the cafeteria workers, the parapros, and it's important to the parents and the children. And we need to value these people. And we need to value them with more than just our words or with Teacher Appreciation Day or all the other things that we say. It's time to value them in their pocketbooks. It's time to value them where they can see it, where they can spend it, and where they can invest it, and where they can actually make a living wage. We have bus drivers that don't get paychecks because if a holiday falls in the week of the 2 weeks that they get paid, they don't get a paycheck. We have people that still qualify for food stamps that are, I know they're not called food stamps anymore. I'm just old. But that qualify for those things, that are employees of the Cobb County School District. We have people who cannot afford to live on what they make here. That's a shame. We have people who want to work for the Cobb County School District but have to take a second or a third job. That shouldn't be. I don't want a discussion group. I don't want us to talk about it. Those are nice things. What I want is you guys to act on it. And I think I heard the reasons that some of you won't vote for that. And I think that while those may be important to you, I think that it's time. It's time for you to act. It's time for you to do what you need to do to give the employees of this school district the living wage that they need. And it's time for you to give them the raise. It's important. They need it. We need it. And it's there. I know you've gotten the emails. I know you've heard from people. And it's important. Thank you.
Thank you, public speakers. Next, we'll move on to action items following executive session. Mr. Ragsdale.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm going to ask John Adams to bring those, and just a reminder that we'll have 2 votes for personnel and then 1 vote for student appeal matter.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Our first vote will be on additions to the superintendent's cabinet. The superintendent recommends the employment of the following members of his cabinet: Dr. Jamie Frost, appointment to Assistant Superintendent, Leadership Division, effective July 1. Dr. Jasmine Kular, appointment to Assistant Superintendent, Leadership Division, effective July 1. And Kelly Metcalf, appointment to Assistant Superintendent, Teaching and Learning, Academic Division, effective June 1. This concludes the first section on the cabinet.
Do you have a motion, Mr. Sweeney?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation that we accept the superintendent's personnel recommendations as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Chastain. A second. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. For the principal and above recommendations, the administration recommends the approval of the identified employment actions of those individuals listed on the Personnel Action Report as discussed in executive session. We have the following principal and above recommended appointments: Sharon Arduino, reassignment to principal, Smyrna Elementary School, effective July 1. Nicole Bristow, appointment to principal, Chalker Elementary School, effective July 1. Dana Carlton, appointment to principal, McClure Middle School, effective June 1. Georgette Clinton, appointment to principal, Argyle Elementary School, effective June 1. Faith Harmeyer, appointment to principal, Nicholson Elementary School, effective June 1. Monica Howard, reassignment to principal, Bernie Elementary School, effective July 1. Judith McNeil, principal, Walton High School, retirement, effective August 1. David Nelson, reassignment to principal, Pine Mountain Middle School, effective July 1. Patrick O'Connell, reassignment to principal, Ford Elementary School, effective July 1. Dr. Philip Page, assistant superintendent, Leadership Division, resignation effective May 8th. Michael Perkins, reassignment to principal, Hendricks Elementary School, effective July 1. And James Brett Ward, reassignment to principal, Kennesaw Elementary School, effective July 1. And this concludes the principal and above recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. I have a motion. Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a recommendation to accept the superintendent's personnel actions as presented.
Mr. Banks, a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Legal matter, Mr. Morgan. student matter, go ahead, okay.
Yes, I would like to make the motion to uphold the tribunal's finding in the student matter, as discussed in executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Mrs. Scamhorn, second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
And I don't know if we want to do consent agenda. I think we put 3 items on there, even though that's not on the printed.
Yeah, so, Mr. Chair, the consent agenda items are agenda items number 1, 2, and 3.
Correct. Brings us to number 4, the adoption of the budget. Discussion.
Well, need a vote on the consent. Or without objection.
Okay, without objection, the consent passes. 7-0, consent.
All right, Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm going to ask Mr. Brad Johnson to come and present agenda item number 4, the FY 2019 budget.
Good evening, Board, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the Board, Mr. Superintendent. Today marks the continuation of the FY 2019 budget presentations and discussion with the Board. The CCSD annual budget development process is probably one of the most impactful strategic tasks that the Board engages in each year. In a previous meeting on March 15th, we reviewed the 2019 budget calendar and the 2019 budget overview and tentative budget with the Board. At the April 19th budget meeting, we presented additional information on the budget to present, as well as a detailed budget data to assist you as board members in the budget development process. The 2019 budget notebook was distributed to each board member, along with the 2019 budget information and estimates for other funds. On this date, the board approved the 2019 tentative budget. All of this budget information was posted on the internet for review by Cobb County citizens. The document for presentation today is the most current revised budget overview, which is an executive summary of the 2019 general fund tentative budget for consideration by the board. Highlights of the current tentative budget include the following. The 2019 tentative general fund budget presented today is balanced. The proposal continues to utilize $7.8 million in fund balance, which follows a $3.2 million use of fund balance last year. The proposal contains no millage increase, as the millage rate was presented and remains at 18.9 mils in this proposal. The proposal continues to contain a salary step for eligible employees based on their salary schedule. The average step for our salary schedules are 1.5% to a range of 3%. The proposal continues to contain a 1.1% bonus for non-238-day employees. The proposal continues to contain a decrease in the work year for 238-day employees in lieu of a bonus. In addition to the highlights I've already presented, it was previously proposed that additional funds earned as a result of the elimination of the austerity cuts is to be used for several items. First of all, a 1.1% salary increase for all permanent employees, and an additional allocation for the instructional pool, an increase from six positions to 19 positions. Mr. Chair, this is the budget presentation for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. We have a motion to approve it. Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a recommendation that we accept the budget as presented.
Okay, a second. Mr. Chastain, second. Any discussion? Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Johnson, you did a great job earlier this afternoon during the work session describing aspects of the budget. And people will frequently ask me is that why is it that the district and the administration recommends an 18.9 millage rate versus 20 mils? And, I understand it's because of the conservative nature of what we need to do as far as the approach, but can you talk to that a little bit as why the recommendation is 18.9 versus 20?
Well, the millage rate for the general fund I believe in 2007, the debt service millage rate was completely eliminated by the board, so we have no long-term debt. And the general fund millage rate has been the same at 18.9 mils since 2007, I believe. An 18.9 millage rate enables the district to have some type of flexibility in the budgets in the coming years and in this year in case of emergencies. It's one of the toolboxes or the tools in the toolboxes that we have to balance this year's budget and future budgets.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Johnson, would you give us an estimate of how many accounts we have in the Fund Code 100?
There's tens of thousands.
Okay, so it's a very large number of accounts that we keep up with every month.
It's an incredible amount of accounts because we are a large school district and it's $1 billion budget. But we control these accounts very carefully. Each account's assigned to an administrator. Those accounts are reviewed one at a time every budget process. Accounts are assigned to each administrator depending on what department or school they're in. Those accounts are reviewed, changes are suggested, corrections, and each administrator signs off on those budgets. So there's a lot of detailed work that goes into this budget before the board even sees the budget.
Also, there are numerous additional fund accounts that you administer, and those probably number in the thousands also. So it's not just one big budget that you're overseeing, but you have a lot of other accounts that you have to maintain every month also. As I usually do, I'll ask you to introduce your budget committee or people that put this budget together, and so that we could recognize them.
Okay. Well, and I appreciate you doing that, but this budget is a team effort amongst all the administrators. Everybody's involved in this budget. Every administrator has accounts, and they're all involved in it. Of course, the budget department coordinates it, and I appreciate you asking for that. And we have the budget department here, and if they would stand, we have Mandy Wissing, who is the budget director. We have David Baker, who is the budget manager, and we have Becky Beck, who's a budget manager.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Banks. Any other discussion? Ms. Thayer?
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And how much does it cost to raise salaries for staff by 1%?
The cost of a step each year is $12 million. The cost of a 1% raise is $9 million. And that's gone up a little bit because the average salary has gone from $85,000 to $90,000 for teachers.
So every time we consider a 1% raise for everyone, it's $9 million.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's quite difficult when we think of all the employees that we have to do that. I truly regret we can't give more. And if there were any way, I would be ready to give 3-4%, whatever we could. But it's just been difficult this year to find the money to do that. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ms. Thayer. Any other discussion? Mr. Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to say that I'm not going to belabor the point. I said a whole lot during our work session about what I believe about this, and in good conscience. For me, obviously not speaking for any of my colleagues, I just can't support this budget based upon I feel like we can do more in this budget. It's just a choice not to do so. So I just want to communicate that, and it is my sincere hope that words turn into actions in the very near future as it relates to pay raises for our employees.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Anyone else? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Motion carries 6-1. And this brings us to board member comments, and we will start with Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll keep my comments brief. I just want to wish students the very best as they approach the end of the school year, and particularly with the emphasis that they will have on finals, and very much looking forward to graduations next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Ms. Thayer?
Thank you. I just wanted to say we're losing two very good people in my area, two of our fine principals, Brett Ward and Michael Perkins. They've made a significant difference. Their leadership has been tremendous in our community. We love them, and we will certainly miss them. But we also welcome, we know that everyone needs change, and so we welcome our new principal to Bernie is Monica Howard, whom I've not yet met, so I look forward to that. And then we welcome home Sharon Arduino. So we're looking forward to their leadership also. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thayer. Mr. Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say we've recognized recently the retirees from the school system. I think it was 218. They'll be missed. A lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of skill is going to be staying at home for a change. But we'll continue on and we'll get past it. But they'll be missed. They're great examples of what a teacher and an employee should be. Also, I want to say that Pope, I think, is on the way to being a state champion again. So, in baseball. So, I want to say congratulations to them. And there was something else, but I lost my train of thought, so I'll pass. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Sweeney, you got one?
Yes, actually, I did mean to include one additional comment, and it is just a very, very heartfelt thank you to Principal Judy McNeil for her leadership at Walton High School. She has been an absolute joy to work with. The school is perennially recognized as being among the best in Georgia, if not one of the best in the entire country. And under her leadership, the school's done a remarkable job, and she will be sorely missed. And we wish her the very best in her retirement.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Chastain?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Gosh, there have been so many accolades and so many things being honored tonight, and I'm going to limit my time, but I'd like to talk about two things. On April the 21st, two major events happened. We acknowledged the Kell Robotics team tonight and the fact that they're world champions, and I think that is fantastic. But I'd like to thank Ed Barker, who is a sponsor of this team. I have never met an individual, I think, so enthused, and I can't come up with enough adjectives to describe Barker's commitment to these students and the fact that they've just, because of things that happened, they've had challenges with funding, challenges with where to have their robotics shop. But this gentleman has done so much to help the students, not only at Kell, but in surrounding schools where they wanted to have participants. And the other thing I'd mentioned that also happened on April 21st, I mentioned this last month, but I was kind of vague. But Lockheed Martin has a thing called Code Quest that they handle every year. On April 21st, it was the Marietta site hosted its code competition. This is coding, computer coding, word problems, and you do a code. And I still don't fully understand it, but I hear it's important to making computers work. Well, we had 4 of our high schools participate in this competition. Hillgrove, coached by Levita Williams. Kennesaw Mountain, coached by Suzanne Manahan. Lassiter, coached by Jean Linner. And Pope, coached by Linda Brown. And then Barber Middle School had an observer team coached by Sandra Watts. And the great news is that in the advanced category, Lassiter High School came in 3rd. I tried to get this publicized, but it's kind of difficult. But it just go. And by the way, these are small teams. They're teams of 3 with maybe one alternate. But these kids sat in a big room with security and all this stuff with their computers and hardware and spent a whole morning and better part into the afternoon working on this competition. And I want to make sure these folks were acknowledged. Mr. Chair, thank you for my time.
Thank you, Mr. Chastain. Mr. Scamahorn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll keep my remarks brief. I'd like to highlight the CTAE ceremony that was at Kennesaw Mountain High School just a week or so ago. But it wasn't just about Kennesaw Mountain High School. In the back of this wonderful program, there's Allatoona High School participated, hospitality, Campbell High School, of course, Kennesaw Mountain High School, North Cobb High School, Osborne High School, and Pope High School. And this is the first year, but as you can see, these folks are going in. They're going into the workforce right away, but yet they're being celebrated as they should be as to their accomplishments and to the major corporations and companies that are hiring them as plumbers and therapeutic services and marketing and management and just a whole host of things. Some of them are going to the North Georgia Welding School. And I'd also like to thank the staff. And there's some, I almost forgot, there's some special recognitions on the back. Simpson Middle School, Sprayberry High School, Walton High School, again, Wheeler High School. But I'd also like to thank the district staff because CTAE, which stands for Career Tech, Agriculture, and Engineering, or Education, they're starting to get their just due. A lot of us, many of us think every child is going to go to college. The reality is only about 65% start. Most of them don't finish, and the rest sometimes, I believe, my opinion, and I'm a CTAE and former instructor, and when I was in high school, I came through what I guess then was a CTAE program. But we're finally getting recognition where labor shortages are all over this country, and these folks are capable of stepping in and going to work immediately and probably making more money than most college graduates when they come out of a four-year degree. So, and the other thing, Mr. Chair, is if you see a police officer, shake their hand. If you get an opportunity, take them to lunch or dinner. But make sure that you express your appreciation, because without them, we'd have chaos. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Scamahorn. Mr. Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Three things. First will be, I was hoping that we had a board meeting during Teacher Appreciation Week, but we didn't, because I want to thank teachers. And just to give you a story, I was invited to an event at Pebblebrook High School, I think it was Tuesday, and I had to go back out to my car. As I was going back out to my car, and this thing started at like 7 o'clock, right, 6:30. Went back out to my car, and it was close to 7 o'clock. And as I was walking out to my car, a teacher that I know at Pebblebrook was walking down the hall. She was still there, not a coach. Wasn't it? She says, yeah, you know, it's just, and it just made me think of just the countless hours that people putting in, pouring into our children and pouring into our community. So I want to sincerely say thank you to our teachers who, Chris, you said when you first came on this board, two types of employees, right?
Those that teach.
Those that teach.
Those that serve.
Those that serve. Those that teach. Second thing I want to point out is I think this is the third year that we've done the summer link. And I'm really, really happy with the progress what we've made for summer learning opportunities for children in our school district. And I know last year I think we were tracking it, and we had over 8,000 people sign up during the summer for this. And not only you you don't even have to be in front of a laptop. I think we've made where you can literally do work on your phone. So I am always happy when we are creating more opportunities, not only through Summer Bridge, but our Summer Link program. And finally, we won't be here, but I know the next time we convene, we will have had our graduation ceremonies. And looking forward to that and just the excitement and love that brings throughout our communities. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Mr. Ragsdale.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Appreciate the opportunity. Again, I have to start off my comments with condolences. One, we lost a team member, Reggie Rowe, transportation supervisor. Our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to his family. He was much too young, and just a crazy set of circumstances literally should make us all appreciate every minute of every day. He was just out jogging and collapsed. And so definitely our thoughts and prayers were with his family. And as many of you already know, the services have long since been had, but Ralph Williams passed away, and certainly he was an icon to Cobb County. So our thoughts and prayers still go out to his family. As Mr. Banks said, retirement luncheon, I think it was Mr. Banks, right? Yeah. Can't remember who takes my thunder, but, someone of you is guaranteed to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The one thing that I will add to that, though, is, something that's very unique to today. You don't find organizations, companies, et cetera, to where employees spend an entire career with that one organization. And we had 8 employees with more than 35 years in Cobb County. And we have one, and we've recognized him before, but I just have to do it again. Ronnie West, a fleet mechanic, 48 years with Cobb County School District. Again. It goes without saying, but it needs to be said. That is certainly an accomplishment, 48 years anyway, working any job, let alone for the same company, though. I mean, you just don't hear that. So it's a testimony to the loyalty that our employees have to our district, and that certainly is appreciated. Tagging along Mr. Scamahorn about CTAE, I do want to recognize also one of the first ever in the state. We had at Kennesaw Mountain High School a CTAE signing day, and that is just as it sounds, just like you have signing days where high school athletes announce what college they're going to play for, et cetera. We had, Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, was it 11 or 12? 12. So we had 12 young men that have been accepted, and they were signing what you would probably consider contracts, either with trade schools where it's a guaranteed program that results in employment, or in some cases straight to employment because of the CTAE pathways that these kids have been able to take advantage of while in high school. So they are actually graduating with a job, which is awesome. Because to Mr. Scamahorn's point, they're going to be making a good living straight out of high school. And it's not because just a certain program, but it's because they have obtained certifications needed to be successful and have a career in the company that they are going to. So I appreciate all the companies participating in that, but more so than anything, it's congratulations to those companies because they're getting students from the greatest school district in the country. Again, thank you to the board for the vote on the budget, and along those lines goes, and I need to say, Ms. Thayer, this will be your final budget you get to vote on. So we'll try to find something every month to identify the fact that you have decided not to be a board member anymore. I'm just kidding. I do that to everybody. We've got several quitters out here that I'm going to get to in a minute. But congratulations and much appreciation to the Financial Services Division. Again, it goes without saying, but it should be said, the amount of work that goes into what you guys do to get so close to forecasts and numbers in $1 billion budget is just simply amazing. Because literally, as Brad always reminds us, I'm not sure if he's just preparing for that day when he might be wrong or what, but he's off 1%, it's $17 million. And so we don't want that to happen, but we appreciate the fact of all the work that you guys put in to make sure that it doesn't. So, personnel, on to the quitters. So we've got Dr. Bacon. This is her final board meeting. She is the ultimate quitter of the night. We definitely appreciate everything that you've brought to us, everything that you've done, and you'll be sorely missed on executive cabinet and in the district. So I thank you for all of your service. Appreciate it. Philip Page, congratulations and whatever. He's going on to be a superintendent. That's number 4. People keep saying about it being an accolade, and I bought into that nonsense to start with, but I'm quite honestly kind of tired of it. So we're going to stop training future superintendents. And last but certainly not least, Judy McNeil is still here. Greatly appreciate everything that you have done at Walton, for the community and for the district. And again, congratulations to you on your career in Cobb, and also being the first school to receive the LGE scholarship tonight. The student received a $5,000 scholarship, and that speaks to the partnerships that we have, that LGE would step forward and do that for that particular student. And there was parameters, so it wasn't just like they picked her out of a hat kind of thing. But congratulations again, Judy. We greatly appreciate everything you have done, and you will be sorely missed in the high school principal ranks. So thank you. And last but certainly not least, we had both Nurse Appreciation Week and Teacher Appreciation Week. Obviously I sent out a message, and it in the message I indicated it was kind of being funny, but kind of not. But in all seriousness, more than just a week, we definitely appreciate the teachers. They're the ones that bring us success. Our district is able to experience a large amount of success, and it's because of the team that we have, but the all-stars on the team are the teachers in the classroom. And we also certainly appreciate the nurses and everything that they do. We have a nurse at every school. A lot of school districts are in nowhere close to the same situation to be able to do that. So we definitely appreciate those. And as we approach summer, I wish everybody, all the employees, team members, a safe summer, a restful summer. Remember, school starts August 1st. Next year, it starts August 1st. So we don't have to worry about what day school starts anymore. And graduation's coming up. I mean, congratulations to all the seniors, to each one that has gone the path for K-12 in Cobb. For those that are new to Cobb, that have spent part of your career here, we hope that you will see that Cobb County School District is the best school district. And we hope that you see that we have lived up to our mission, which is one team, one goal, student success. So I look forward. I believe I'm attending 4 graduations. So I look forward to shaking those hands of those graduates. So with that, Mr. Chair, I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. And it's my pleasure to honor and recognize a couple of community events and organizations that I had attended their awards ceremony. First, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Mormons, the Cedar Crest Ward, Pickett's Mill Ward, and Stilesboro Ward. They did distinguished educators, and they recognized all the teachers in that area and administrators, and it was a very nice event, and they did a good job with it. And it's nice to see that the communities out back and our people as well. There were some Paulding County people as well at that thing. And second, I had the privilege and honor to attend the Shooting for the Stars Scholarship reception at the Zion Baptist Church, and this is done by the Alpha Kappa Alpha Rho Zeta Omega chapter and the Pearl Foundation. And this is a real first-class event. I don't know if a lot of people have ever gone to that, but they've been having this scholarship fund for years, and they contribute thousands and thousands of dollars. And the young ladies that they recognized are truly outstanding kids, and they've done excellent work in their schools and are going to be a success. And I'd just like to say thank both of those organizations for what they've done to help with our kids and staff. It's impressive. And thank you for that. And graduates coming up this week, congratulations. And if there's no objection, Mr.
One thing I forgot. So I meant to thank the board for the vote because we've had this split time, but the rest of cabinet that you approved tonight, I appreciate that vote of confidence, and we know those that are coming up, Kelly Metcalf, and she's coming out of a school, as are Jasmine and Jamie, all three coming out of schools, but feel very confident in them being added to the team of cabinet. And so I appreciate that. And then also want to recognize the first meeting, because this is the one that you always get maybe a pass, but no further, and that's John Floresta, so his first meeting tonight. Appreciate you. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Igdell. If there's no objection, we are adjourned. We're adjourned.